There was an unexpected press conference today. Conservative Democratic Senator Joe Manchin held an unexpected press conference today to discuss where he stands on the budget reconciliation bill. Now, Cenk, there was another update to this story later on in the day.
And then progressive leader, Representative Jayapal, came out on television to respond to the press conference. Manchin laid down red lines, and they are terrible red lines. Anna's gonna explain that in a second. How did Jayapal respond? Well, that's gonna give you your answer as to what is gonna happen in these bills. Quick tease, not well. We're gonna see how disastrous that response was in a little bit. But first, you gotta find out what threats Manchin used so that you know what progressives responded to.
So we have several short clips from Manchin's press conference. I want to start off with the first one where he keeps reiterating that he's been negotiating on good faith.
I've worked in good faith for months with all of my colleagues to find a middle ground on a fiscally, and I repeat that, a fiscally responsible piece of legislation that fixes the flaws of the 2017 Trump tax bill that I thought was weighted far, far too far for the high-end earners and the needs of the American families and children. However, as more of the real details outlined in the basic framework are released, what I see are shell games, budget gimmicks that make the real cost of the so-called $1.75 trillion bill estimated to be almost twice that amount if the full time is run out, if you extended it permanently, and that we haven't even spoken about.
So he's referring to the budget reconciliation bill, the bill that he received quite a few concessions on. A lot of the important provisions in that bill were stripped out. The bill was pared down in order to appeal to Joe Manchin, and he's making it abundantly clear that he's still not committed to voting in favor of that budget reconciliation bill. Now, he claims that he's negotiating on good faith. Obviously, we do not agree with that. In fact, in that clip, he said that he wanted to reverse the damage that was being done by the Trump era tax cuts. That is not the case. In fact, he had previously said, this is from the Associated Press on September 13th of 2021, I cannot support $3.5 trillion, Manchin said, citing in particular his opposition to raising the corporate tax rate above 25%, a figure he says will keep the US globally competitive. Now, the corporate tax rate before Trump implemented his tax cuts was 35%. Trump lowered it to 21%. And Manchin was like, I'm not gonna raise the corporate tax rate anywhere above 25%. I'm giving you that context because he's a liar and he's not negotiating on good faith. Cenk.
Yeah, so look guys, this is a shell game that they use because they know there's no real reporters in the country. So one of them says, oh my God, the Trump tax cuts, we don't want those. We want the rates to go back up, but I want that rate to go up, not this one. Then the second senator comes in and goes, oh, I'm against the Trump tax cuts too, but what an unlucky break. I'm the reverse, I don't want that one to go up, I want the other one to go up. And then two more senators come in until they've all vetoed any tax increase at all. So Manchin originally said the corporate tax rate used to be at 35%. They lowered it to 21. Biden said 28. Manchin seemed like he was gonna go to 28. Now he's like, nope, only 25. But it doesn't matter because Sinema says, I won't even do 25. I'll be at 21. And then Sinema says, how about we do a billionaire's tax? I'm not sure, actually, I'm not positive Sinema said that. But certainly Wyden proposed that and it seemed like it was getting momentum. And then Manchin goes, no billionaire's tax. So they say no on every single tax on the rich, no on every single tax on corporations. So what you saw there from Joe Manchin is an unmitigated lie. And also, when Democratic leadership tells you they were against the Trump tax cuts, they're lying. They're in charge now, 100% in charge. If they were against the Trump tax cuts, they would reverse them. It's not complicated. They're not going to reverse a dollar of it because they're actually in favor of it because they're also rich.
Now, Manchin is adamant in getting a vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill in the House that's already passed in the Senate. That is where his priorities are. He wants to pass that corporate handout bill, and he's actually livid about the fact that progressives, in his words, have held that bill hostage. He says it's not gonna work. Let's watch.
For the sake of our country, I am urging all of my colleagues in the House to vote and pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill. It's bipartisan, 69 votes. We worked on that for many, many months. As I've said before, holding that bill hostage is not going to work to get my support of what you want.
You're not going to get my support for what you want. He's referring to the reconciliation bill, and he's demanding a vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill. In fact, Manchin is incredibly salty about the fact that progressives, at least for a brief period of time, decided to flex a little bit of their power. I want to go to the next video on that.
The President of the United States has addressed the House Democratic Caucus twice recently to urge action on the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which sometimes we refer to as the BIF bill. Last week, the Speaker Pelosi urged the importance of voting and passing the BIF bill before the President took the world stage overseas, and still no action. In my view, this is not how the United States Congress should operate, or in my view, has operated in the past. The political games have to stop. Twice now, the House has balked at the opportunity to send the BIF legislation to the President. As you've heard, there are some House Democrats who say they can't support this infrastructure package until they get my commitment on the reconciliation legislation. It is time to vote on the BIF bill, up or down, and then go home and explain to your constituents the decision you made. And I've always said, if I can't go home and explain it, I can't vote for it, and if I can, I will. I've worked in good faith for 3 months, for the past 3 months, with President Biden, Leader Schumer, Speaker Pelosi, and my colleagues on the reconciliation bill, and I will continue to do so. For the sake of the country, I urge the House to vote and pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Holding this bill hostage is not going to work in getting my support for the reconciliation bill.
So again, he is not committed to voting in favor of the reconciliation bill. He's demanding a vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill immediately. And the question that remains is, will progressives give in to his demands? We're gonna get to that in just a second, but first, Cenk.
Yeah, so understand the hypocrisy of everything that he's saying. Remember, that, again, there's two bills, the bipartisan infrastructure bill, that's the one that's the corporate-backed one. It's got all sorts of goodies for corporations. That's why both corporate Democrats and corporate Republicans voted for it in the Senate. They love it because it gives your money to corporations. They love that. And they're saying, we only want that one passed. And he says, how dare you hold that bill hostage? But wait a minute, you're holding the other one hostage, Build Back Better. That's the one that actually has money for actual Americans. Well, I get to hold it hostage and you don't get to hold it hostage. And then he calls it political games. Well, how about the political games you're playing? You're holding the other bill hostage. And you're saying in this press conference, not only am I not going to vote for it now, I'm not giving you any promises that I'm ever gonna vote for it. And I'm not giving you any promises about what's gonna be in the bill. That's an open-handed slap. And that says to progressives, you're gonna get nothing and you're gonna like it, sign the goddamn bill and do as we tell you, like every single time. The corporate donors will win. We will not raise $1 of taxes on corporations, not one on the rich, and you will not get paid family leave. You will not get lower drug prices. You will not get free community college. You'll not get climate change. You'll get nothing and like it. Now, if I was a progressive leader or Nina Turner was the progressive leader, we'd come out and we'd have a similar message for Joe Manchin. Is that what happened, Anna?
Well, why don't we hear from Pramila Jayapal, who is the head of the Congressional Progressive Caucus.
I'm very happy to say that we are now awaiting negotiations amongst senators on prescription drug pricing and childcare and some details on immigration. But the Progressive Caucus, assuming good resolution of those issues from the Senate side, that we will be excited to vote for both bills. We now feel like we have what we need. We are taking the president's word at the fact that he believes he can get 50 votes in the Senate. And I hope that the two senators that we've been waiting on these months, who have come to the table in good faith and negotiated, that they understand that this is a leap of faith. But assuming we get these final negotiations done, we're ready to pass both bills. And I think the caucus feels very good about the fact that we've been able to do what we said from the beginning, which is pass both bills at the same time, get the entirety of the president's agenda to his desk for signature, and ultimately deliver transformative change for people across this country.
So understand that what she just said there was, we're gonna vote on both bills. The House is likely to pass both bills. And that's before we have a reconciliation bill passed and ready to go in the Senate. So she said that she's taking the president's word that he will have the 50 votes necessary in the Senate to pass the reconciliation bill. The pared down, stripped reconciliation bill that does not include many of the provisions that Biden claimed was part of his agenda. But there is no guarantee that there will be a reconciliation bill. If the House passes the bipartisan bill, which is what all the corporate goons and all the Republicans, and by the way, Manchin wants, again, there's no guarantee that they're gonna get a reconciliation bill and progressives will have given up all of their leverage.
She said that assuming that they're going to do this and we're gonna take the president's word. No,
don't take the president's word.
Assuming that Manchin and Sinema are going to do the right thing, and look, the pared down version already sucks, and Manchin and Sinema are still not happy with it. The original negotiations were supposed to be between these are indisputed facts. You can look them up anywhere you want. They were supposed to be between 1.5 trillion, which is what Manchin and Sinema were saying, and 3.5 trillion, which is what progressives were saying. Now we're at 1.75, and Manchin and Sinema go, no, that's not enough of a surrender. What, we went up 0.25? You guys lost on everything? It's not enough, it's not enough. And by the way, even if you come down to 1.5, we still might not pass it. Are you insane that you're gonna trust Manchin and Sinema? You're gonna what, take the president's word, what, Biden's gonna be tough on Manchin and Sinema? Come on, that's preposterous. So look, I'll be very clear about this, and everybody in Washington can catch all the feelings they like. They say, oh, this is so rude to poor Jayapal, etc. I'm not prejudging, I'm telling you my position and her position. Let's see who's right, okay? So I'm saying if Jayapal is right and they come back with 1.75 trillion, which already sucks, but I'll give it to her, okay? It doesn't even have paid family leave, it's a disaster of a bill. But even that version, okay, the 1.75, it passes. I'll say, oh, you know what, my bad. It turns out you could take Biden at his word, and he wasn't representing his donors, as we told you all along. And Manchin and Sinema were reasonable, and they actually passed some tax increases, etc. We'll say we were wrong, and we'll say Jayapal should remain leader of the House Progressives. If she is wrong, and it turns out they shouldn't have taken Manchin and Sinema's word, they shouldn't have taken Biden and Pelosi's word, well, then there has to be consequences and accountability. So we're not like the toxic left. Accountability just simply means you obviously shouldn't be leader because you were wrong and you got us nothing.
So who
or
cares?
You got us a terrible bill. Is there going to be accountability? No, my guess is progressives are going to go, but Cenk, that's not fair. You hurt her feelings, and we care a lot about her feelings. I care about the feelings of the voters. Did you guys forget about the voters? We're not asking for anything other than, did you pass the goddamn bill or didn't you? And so if you didn't, you can, telling me about trust of corporate Democrats is not remotely interesting. There's no way to characterize this as anything but a complete surrender. The original negotiating position was, we will not pass this bill until you pass the reconciliation bill. Now they're saying, sorry, we apologize, we give you everything. Forget our earlier negotiating position. We will pass your bill first and then hope for the best on the second bill. And by the way, that also destroys your leverage. You will have no leverage at all. Now that you gave them what they wanted, now they're gonna say, why would I give you anything in negotiations, you schmucks? Why would I give you anything? You've lost all leverage, we're done for. And now when a progressive leader says something in Congress, the rest of the Democrats and Republicans and media will laugh their ass off. Remember when they drew a red line and then we easily got them to surrender? Ha ha ha, their word doesn't mean anything. That's what's gonna happen, it's a guarantee.
I mean, I feel the same way about progressives in Congress right now. It's not just about Jayapal. I mean, Jayapal might be the leader of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, but does that mean that every progressive within that caucus needs to follow her lead? You still have progressives, you have enough Justice Democrats to block both bills until they get what they want. Are they willing to do it? And you talk about accountability, who carries out the accountability? I think that's the missing piece of the puzzle, right? We can elect progressives into Congress. Clearly, if they're not fearful of the electorate, or if they're not fearful of the very people who put them in that position of power in the first place, they're not gonna carry out what they can carry out with the leverage that they have. This is a perfect example of them literally having the leverage necessary to get important provisions included. They were willing to flex that muscle before. I don't know why they're willing to give it up now.
No, it's the gaslighting, and it's honestly the feelings. The feelings of Jayapal will be heard. The feelings of Pelosi will be heard. We will have broken etiquette. The most important thing in Washington, etiquette. Okay, no. And I want to be super clear. There's a toxic left that has ruined everything by going nuclear on even the smallest little issues. So it has given progressive legislators an out, going, oh, anyone who criticizes us is a lunatic. So that's okay. We're the furthest left that anybody can go. We're the hardest, toughest negotiators that anybody could do.
They didn't win anything. They haven't accomplished a damn thing.
So we're telling you, as the show that has by far the biggest following in progressive media, by far. It's not to brag, it's to tell you there's a reason why 5 million people said, hey, we like those guys. Those are the guys that speak for us. If we were saying things that weren't true, that weren't progressive, they wouldn't follow us. Overall for the network, it's over 20 million. When are you gonna get it through your head? The base does not like surrender. This is surrender, it is obvious. Now later, I will tell you guys, because it's true, that I will tell you, hey, listen, we gotta primary corporate Democrats. And a lot of you will not listen to me. Why? Because you'll say, what difference does it make? Anna's already there.
I'm already there.
What difference does it make, you're gonna say? We elected the people who we thought were the most progressive. They were clean and uncorrupted, and they gave up anyway. And I'm gonna have an incredibly hard time getting you to give money even to an awesome progressive or to volunteer for an awesome progressive. Because whenever we send progressives to DC, they go in there and they listen to the stupid etiquette. We're not, when we say fearful, we just mean to the voters. We're not crazy right wingers. We're not crazy toxic left. We just mean, for God's sake, if you don't listen to your own voters, then there's no accountability for you. So I don't give a damn about anybody's feelings. So I'm telling you right now, you guys give up like this, you all are accountable too. Anna's right. You guys made Jayapal the leader. We haven't voted yet. You could vote no. You could vote no. And if you say, hey, Cenk, I am now offended, are you saying that I'm not making the right decision?
Correct.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And if you want to be offended, that's on you, brothers and sisters, okay? But we're telling you the reality. We've got millions of people who constantly send in comments. They're the progressive base. They're to the left of us saying, push them harder, push them harder. Jesus Christ, are we ever gonna get a win? Are we ever gonna get a win? And the answer is no. I'm at a point where I'm nearly retracting all of the excitement that I had for any of these electoral victories. How am I gonna tell people with a straight face, hey, they can make a difference? No, they're gonna surrender, and then they're gonna say they're surprised later that Biden did not keep his word. Manchin and Sinema did not keep their word. And what did we tell you? Anna and I told you, and no one else in progressive media believed this either. We said they're never gonna do a billionaire's tax. Other people are reporting, oh, they're gonna do it. My ass, they're gonna do it. Don't you know anything about American politics? The rich control everything. Why they give campaign contributions? Those are bribes. God, they've learned nothing. I'm gonna get to that last part that's so important in a second. And then still in the bill though was the corporate minimum tax. That's a good tax. At least corporations have to pay 15%. And we said, everybody says this in the final deal, but the only people skeptical were Anna and I. We said, I don't think they're gonna do it because they never raise taxes, not even $1 on corporations. And what happened? Manchin checked with his donors over the weekend.
Yep.
He comes out on Monday and he says, oh, I'm willing to vote no on everything. If you're gonna raise taxes $1 on my beloved corporations and they're my beloved donors, then I vote no on everything. We told you. I'm sick of being right. I'm sick of it. Can anyone in Washington prove us wrong? It's all the money, you idiots. It's all the money. If you don't take the money out of politics first, you're gonna get surprised every time. Oh my God, the donors won again. I'm so surprised. Let's try this first, let's try that first. No, get the goddamn money out first. Jesus Christ, you guys have no sense at all. And when we push for Wolfpack and we push for amendments to get, oh, not yet, not yet, not yet. When? Finally, look at the poor planning. Look at the horrific planning. We also told you, hey guys, this is a big build, the Build Back Better bill, the reconciliation bill. It's gonna take a long time to craft. How are you gonna get both of them at the same time? You gotta go earlier. You gotta go earlier. You're gonna run out of time, and then you're gonna use time to put pressure on you. Remember how we told you they were gonna run out the clock and then say you've gotta vote for it? That's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. So, and now progressives will pretend to be surprised. So good luck, brothers and sisters, but there's not gonna be any love out here for you guys. But hey, enjoy the love you'll get in Washington. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.